Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe, Pampered Chef. I just wanted to do a quick video because it had been so long since I have done one. So what I wanted to feature for today's recipe, this is the red lentil and spinach soup by Pampered Chef, and I'm going to make it in the brand new quick cooker. Now, this debuted September 1st. It's an amazing gadget to have in your house simply because it's a pressure cooker. But the great thing about it, I can go into more detail with the Pampered Chef quick cooker. It has 16 different settings, and this is the cover for it here. Now, the great thing about it is this is the pressure release valve, but this is the button that you push to release the pressure. So that's one of the biggest safety features for the quick cooker. And this recipe that I'm going to make is absolutely perfect, especially on a day like today with this nor'easter whipping through and it's cold outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do is we are going to turn this knob, and we're going to turn it until sear is lit up, which is right here. So it says sear, and then we're just going to press start. Now what that'll do is this will heat it up at a very quickly to a high heat, and at this point is where you would sear, I'm going to use it for the vegetables right now, but you would sear meat, stuff like that if you wanted to get a head start on different recipes. So first thing I want to do is cut up this onion. Just cut this up into chunks, and we're going to use the manual processor. Now, the great thing about this is there's the slap chop from so many years ago. This one's been around a few years. It has 3 very, very sharp blades inside. And the cool thing about it is on the bottom there's this rubber gasket, and that keeps it from sliding when you're cranking. So we're just going to throw some chunks of onion in there. Make sure the blade is centered. And the lid locks down. I guess you can see that right there. So the lid locks down for storage. And we're just going to cut this up like this. So we're just going to coarsely chop this for this recipe. Do a couple more planks. Now, a great thing about the manual processor is you could make salsa pretty quick in it, guacamole in just a few cranks, baby food. There's all kinds of things you can make in it. Just add that right to the pot. I already have a couple of tablespoons of oil in there heating up. Oops. And a couple more cranks. So I don't know if you can hear the sizzle on the camera. Oh, perfect. Now with the manual processor, the bottom part and the blades are dishwasher safe. The cover is hand wash only, so always keep that in mind. Whenever people ask me about the Pampered Chef products, I always say make sure you follow the use and care guidelines. That looks like enough onion. Wasn't expecting that much onion. Yeah. Okay. That looks a little bit better. I didn't think that was such a big onion. So, next thing you want to do to this, so we have this stirring up. Just give that a little shake. So next up is the simple slicer. Now, years ago there was the ultimate mandolin that had all of the different blades that you would slide in and out. This one is called the simple slicer because they've simplified it a lot. It has 3 different settings. And Depending on how you slide that, that will put that guard down for how thick you want things. So for this particular recipe, we're going to do number 3 because we want the carrots to be nice and thick. This does come with a guard that you want to use, but since I'm so used to using it all the time, I really have no fear of this blade because I know when to stop. Okay, do that. And just so you know too, there are little edges on the bottom of the slicer, and you can use that to rest right on the edge of a pan. Okay. I'm just going to hit cancel for now. Don't need everything burning. So because these carrots are really thin, you want to do 3 large carrots. So because they're really thin, I guess I could just do 4 of them. And because I don't want to go all the way to the edge, we're just going to leave that much, just for safety. So then what you'll get is a consistently, evenly sliced carrot. So let's turn this back on to sear. So we'll let this heat up again. Now the great thing with the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker is that you are going to get a user manual with it. It gives you all of the times needed for meat, for chicken, for pork, all kinds of different vegetables, and also all of your different beans. There's another amazing recipe that I made with this not too long ago. It was a beef chili. Absolutely amazing. It calls for 2 pounds of beef chuck. And let me tell you, the meat came out absolutely tender. All right. Classic standard that everybody has is the garlic press. So we're going to throw some garlic in here. Oops. And that was all the garlic I had left in the house. Put this in the sink. All right, so we got that heating up again. So again, if you wanted to do the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker, the best way to get one at a good reduced rate or pretty much almost free would be to host your own party. So definitely comment on this video if you want to host your own party. The easiest way to do it is to do even a virtual party. That one is very easy. I cook just like this for my own home with a link for people to shop. We do it as a Facebook event, and I just post different things daily. People jump on, they jump off, they can comment, they can like things, share recipes. I love to share different recipes with the different items. And for virtual parties, especially if you have a small apartment, or if you just plain old don't like people in your house, the best way to do it would be a virtual party. But I still love to come over and cook for people, just like the good old days. So give that a stir. So now to this we're going to add 4 cups of vegetable stock. So now the trick that I've learned with the pressure cooker is I leave it on sear because I want this liquid to heat up. Because what'll happen is if you turn the sear off and then you lock the lid, it takes a little bit longer for it to come up to pressure and for it to cook. So what we want to do is leave sear on for just a couple more minutes. So now with this is the batter bowl. This is one of our most popular items, but they've updated this a couple of seasons ago, which is pretty cool. The old design, it had a rounder edge and the handle was connected. But what they did was they made it a smoother edge, disconnected the handle, and now they're all stackable. And each one comes with its own lid. So if you're doing things like pancake batter or cupcakes or something, whatever, and you have some left over, you could just throw the lid on and throw it right in the fridge. And this is the 8-cup capacity. It also comes in a 4-cup capacity. Now to this recipe, we're going to add 1 cup of rinsed red lentils. Now, right now they're red in color, but when they cook up, they turn a really nice yellow. So this is 1 cup. And I've already had this rinsed ahead of time. Now, probably one of the greatest things that, not the greatest, but probably one of the best things that I got was a new colander set. Now, this is the smallest of a 3 colander set. It's a very thick wire mesh, and it's reinforced with these stainless steel wires, and it's very sturdy. It isn't very flimsy. That's the word I wanted. I couldn't think of the word. So these aren't very flimsy, and they do come in a set of 3. So definitely look into that on my website. And my website is pamperedchef.biz, B-I-Z, /Joe Furtado, and that's J-O-E, F as in Frank, U-R, T as in Tom, A-D-O, pamperedchef.biz /Joe Furtado. And that'll take you right to my online store. And if you see any of these recipes that you like, definitely go ahead and try them. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. So now to this, in my little prep bowl, I have 1 teaspoon of cumin, and I also have a ½ teaspoon of salt, each of salt and pepper. So I'm going to add that right to the pot. I can hear this already starting to cook up. So what I was going to say too with our recipes, the great thing about Pampered Chef recipes is that the best thing is you can modify it any which way you want. So there are certain things that I'll make, like there's the risotto recipe. You can make that any way you want to. There's all kinds of things that you can modify and just really play with the recipes. A lot of them are just really basic, not very... I don't know, I don't even want to say basic. I don't want to really make it sound derogatory, but the recipes just call for certain things, and then you can just modify, make some changes, and then just definitely play with it. Add more of this spice or add more of that flavor. One big thing that I like to do with a lot of the recipes is a lot of the side dishes are very simple. So I'll add either chicken or beef to them to make them more of a meal. Like for this one, for example, I just stuck to the basic recipe. But I've made this before where I've added just like a little bit of rice or to make it a little bit more hearty. And this recipe is actually very easy, very delicious to make. And it's definitely going to come in handy and perfect on this crappy weather nor'easter day that we have going on. All right, so we have a little bit of steam coming up, which is what we wanted. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the lid on, and it's pretty self-explanatory which way you swing it for open and close. Do it this way. And it also beeps at you, so you know you're right. So the way it just beeped, that made contact, and then turn it this way. And so that means that it's locked. There's a little lock symbol there. So to this, we are going to go to soup stock. So turn this until you get to soup stock. All right, so this already has a preset setting of 30 minutes, but we don't want this for 30 minutes. For this particular recipe, all we need is 10. So you hit the time button, and then you hit the down button. We're going to go right down to 10. So we have 10 minutes set on soup and stock, and we're going to hit start. Now with this, you want to make sure that this button is completely up, so it's flush with the whole frame. The red button is completely down. When it's up, it means that it's come to pressure, but it's completely down because there's nothing in it. There's no pressure in it, I should say. So with this release, we want it to be completely flush with the handle. And this is straight on. There's a little Pampered Chef hat on there. That's what you want to do. Now, mind you, this is all stuff that I've learned through trial and error with this. So I did a live video, never came to pressure on a cooking video. So for this, I know that it's good to go, so we're just going to hit start. Another safety feature for this is there are indents here on the sides, and this is great to carry it. And this will not get hot on the outside at all. Barely warm, but you don't have to worry about it getting hot for you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video because this is going to take a few minutes to come up to pressure, and then the pressure cooking will be only 10 minutes for the soup. So I'm just going to pause it for now, and I will be back in a few minutes.